Too hot, isn't it?
Oh, mate, melted.
I know, man. You doing alright?
Yeah, you. Thanks for coming, mate.
Not bad, thanks.
We met once or twice before.
Did we?
We did that long walk through London where you got picked in the Tower Hamlets.
What, the charity walk?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, was you on that?
Yeah.
Did you have to walk all the
Yeah.
whole way?
Similar
Sorry
day
about
today,
that.
wasn't it? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's boring, isn't it?
Yeah,
How you doing? You're recording us?
I'm going to record, I'm not recording
Okay.
myself. So
Okay,
no.
fine, cool.
Right, we are going to go out and do this in the back. Yeah?
Yep, Sam. Yep. This is just that. If you hatchet job me, which I expect everyone at the minute, the media, everyone's out to just
Are you
crucify
live
me.
streaming it, or are you just pre-recording?
I'll be live streaming myself. Yeah. Because I've just seen some councillor, Conservative MP, just slandering me, just lies. Everyone's saying I'm inciting hate. No one can give one example. So I expect Sky News to be here to do the same. Warm, innit?
Thanks, Tommy. Just sit you down here, man.
Sitting here, yeah?
Sit there.
This is Martin the camera.
You don't mind?
Yeah, good to see you.
Oh, you alright?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Oh, Jesus. It's too hot, isn't it? A moment it's hot, a moment it's cold.
Good sound effects.
Yeah, of course.
Anything else yet on who he was? Anyone know?
Andy's doing some.
How's his name not come out yet?
research at the moment. Well, you know, just doing some digging. It's just no one knows. There's pictures out. So what's your t-shirt?
Yep, Sam.
I wouldn't have thought it'd be too long.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures of him.
Yeah. You don't recognise that individual.
No, I don't know.
Can I have you touch what on the inside there?
Yep.
So we're going to talk about first of all the what kind of came out of the EDL movement and how it kind of splintered into many different groups around the country.
Yep. And this is with the angle of looking at the possibility that this man who's done it,
Yeah.
you think could be linked to one of these groups.
The indications at this stage are that he may be, but we don't know. But kind of the indications are that it probably might be, and we'll see what comes out through the rest of the day.
Yep.
And then we'll kind of, the idea is that we're putting together a piece that looks at the modern day far right in the UK and where kind of the roots of that are and how many different groups are part of that and how it's impossible just to say the far right and mean one
Well, it's
group
been
of
possible to
people.
say far right because where they've called everyone far right.
Yeah.
So you have genuine
It's
far right
a kind of
groups.
blanket term.
You'll have
isn't it?
genuine far right groups who will incite hate, incite violence. But what they've done is just everyone and anyone who criticises anything
Yeah.
is called far right.
Yeah. What are your
Which-
thoughts about?
Sorry, Tom, can I
Yeah.
get you to move that way?
Yep,
Keep
sure.
going, take this one.
Yeah.
Keep going, keep going.
Keep going
Yeah, there, perfect.
to there.
What are my thoughts on?
On what we're looking at.
I'd say the same as what I've said the whole time is that I don't know why anyone's surprised.
Yeah.
There should be no surprise in what's happened here. At all. I've said it for years, and again, people were trying to twist my words and everything I'm saying. I've been warning against things for a reason, yeah? Saying that you're going to create these monsters, you're going to do this. Yeah? When everything else fails, when people look at the state of our country and they see nothing happening, they see ISIS fighters coming back week in, week out, walking on streets, they see terrorism. Like yesterday, for example, there was a march for our capital city with terrorist organisations' flags, and our mayor said nothing. Yeah? When people see that, what do you think they're going to do?
And what do you mean? Are we ready, Mark?
I don't know what people. So that's not. And again, too many people are trying to take my words out of my mouth and twist them. It's like, unless you show light at the end of the tunnel for any problem, the problem our country's in, it's a reality problem that we're in. We're fucked with what we're allowed to happen. Our country have allowed it, our government have allowed it, our politicians have allowed it. Everyone's just allowed this situation to come, and then sectarianism is the inevitable outcome. It was only going to ever happen, and I just don't know why they haven't done anything to stop it, to prevent it, to give people hope.
We'll start on that point with Martin's happy. Tommy, we've heard Theresa May in recent weeks after some of these attacks talking about how that we as a society have allowed extremism to linger, and that is something that you've obviously talked about a lot over many, many years. Explain to me your things right now at this point in this summer. What do you think that is in terms of public sentiment? Because people kind of need to believe what their leaders tell them, and it's the action that.
Some leaders lie. Leaders lie, and everyone knows leaders lie. When they say our society's allowed it, no, our politicians have allowed it. They've allowed it. People haven't allowed it. People have been crying out and screaming out for years to try and get this sorted. They've allowed it to get to a stressful situation. I think the country's a tinderbox. It has been a tinderbox for some time. I keep saying, that the whole time. I don't know how people say, I always say I'm not threatening. It's a warning. I'm warning you. And when I left the English Defence League 5 years ago, you can dig up my speeches. I said we're 5 years away from an English suicide bomber. That man was saying, "Kill me, kill me, kill me." He wanted to die.
Let's talk about the EDL and the many factions that have come out of it. Explain to me how many there are and how spread they are and how unwieldy and uncontrollable that is now. Wait, I think so. Tell me about the many splinter groups that came out of the EDL and the spread of that around the UK.
So with the English Defence League, the English Defence League had a core belief system that it was non-violent, non-racist. That's reality. No matter what you lot said or the media said or politicians said, that was the core belief of it. So what you then had is groups forming within it, splinter organisations who were then kicked out of it, publicly kicked out. Dig up all the videos, you can go through them all. I'd publicly kick out these groups. You had the Northwest Infidels. I've become their enemy number one. I'm a race traitor, a Zionist, all these sorts of things for disagreeing with their extremism. And from that you had South East Alliance, you had all these different groups forming, and then you've seen all of them aligning through this unity. They always used to call for unity marches. They always used to say we need unity, the far right need unity. And in fact the worrying thing is, secret units within Metropolitan Police Force, Scotland Yard, approached me when I was in jail and asked me to unite these groups. Unite the right. So you want to look at who's responsible for all these things. Our security services play a dirty hand on both sides.
Do you think that those different groups are more dangerous than the EDL and what that
come on, the EDL
was and what
EDL aren't dangerous, never. Well, EDL were never dangerous. They're never threatening violence. They're never instigating violence. Some of these other groups do. Some of these groups are very open and honest about their racism, their extremism, what they want. They want the violent reaction. Some of them. But we have to also put it into perspective here. There's been one attack. Yeah? There was 12 planned Islamic terrorist attacks last year. There was 3 attacks in the last 3 months. There's been 5 failed attempts in the last 3 months. We need to put it in perspective. We do face a threat which inevitably, unless you tackle the Islamic extremism problem, you are always going to create this. And again, we've been saying this for years, warning them for years. You're going to create a monster. That man last night was a monster. They created it.
Have you any idea on the background of that individual or what group he might be belonging to?
I have absolutely no idea at all. I have no idea, but he's gone and targeted innocent people with a van. You know, when we look at what this man done, it's a copycat attack. Yeah? 55,000 British Muslims downloaded the Inspire terrorist manual telling them to use these attacks. 55,000. Yeah? He's copied the transcripts, hasn't he? He's copied the target. And again, you have to ask yourself, in the capital cities, I don't know where he was from. If he was from London yesterday, he'd have been watching 3 months of terrorist attacks. Again, I'm not justifying it. Yeah? I'm just saying how people are feeling. You want to get to the root cause of why this is going to happen, because this is going to continue to happen. You want to get to the root cause of why it's continuing to happen. You have to address people's fears for the state the country's in. You have to address their angers. Now, yesterday, Jeremy Corbyn, who could well lead our country this year, if things go bad, then he attends this Al-Quds march, which is a terrorist march. A terrorist march went through our capital city yesterday, waving flags that called for the destruction and death of Jews. Nothing was said or done about it by any politician or political group. Nothing at all. So long as you keep doing it, that's all. That's not. So long as you keep ignoring the problems, so long as you keep ignoring the terrorism, so long as you keep ISIS fighters walking around the streets living next to us, so long as you do that, you will create an atmosphere that gives a chance for someone to be created by them.
With all those different groups, is there one that stands out in your mind as more ready to act?
National Action, who have now been banned, and the reason why they piss me right off, why they annoy me, is because they're middle class. And they're middle class extremist fascists who you use in the working class because they know how angry the working class are. So they're using them, manipulating them. That's National Action. They're now being prescribed. So Theresa May done right. She banned that organisation. She tried to address it. They should have banned some of these Islamic organisations. Hizb ut-Tahrir should be banned. People shouldn't be able to walk through our capital city with the same way someone walked through our capital city with a Nazi flag and be arrested and stopped. These people are walking with terrorist flags and tying them around their children.
On National Action,
yep.
When you say it's middle class men presumably.
Middle class men running it. kids
using working class kids
to rile up and wind up, and like the attack after Lee Rigby's death. That was another one who attacked a Sikh fella in Wales. Some of these groups, and they're quite open about who they are. So, and to be honest, I've stood up against them, and I've had some of them travel down to Luton. I've had members of them travel down to Luton to attack me. Some of these groups, because we've made a very public stance against them, as everyone does. But they have been, and people. I don't know why people are surprised. This has been a long time coming, and that's not me. Again, I don't want you to cut and edit this. That's why I'm live streaming. That's just me warning. I say you should be listening to the warning. People are going to take the law into their own hands. And no one wants that. No one wants that. You see the videos last night? But loads of innocent people dying on the floor, and it all, and then and after a situation like that, I say it was a terrorist attack, and the victims are Muslims. After every other attack, we hear the victims are Muslims in that as well, which they're not. It's quite frustrating. But
some of them are.
Yeah, but well, okay. Will police leaders be today in churches standing there saying, "Stronger together, we're going to make sure you're all right"? No, they won't. It'd be ridiculous if they were. It'd be ridiculous if they were, because they should be going and making sure Muslim community feel reassured. Yeah, that's which they are doing. But the reverse the roles. There's a lot of hypocrisy that's going on with this whole situation in our country, which again adds fuel to the fire.
The one thing we do know about what happened last night is that the van was hired, at least in South Wales. Mm. If it transpires that is the background to this individual, would that surprise you?
No, not at all. South Wales has a problem. Has had a problem. We had a huge problem with a group who set up the Welsh Defence League. There's a neo-Nazi problem there. There's a problem.
Why more there than other parts of the UK?
I don't know. I'd say they had an influence. Some men there. I don't know. As I said, I've never got on with them. So I've never got on with them. If that transpires, I'm not even, because of what we're talking about. It's like, so long as say we find out that this man was part of an organisation, and then we find videos of this organisation standing there calling for the death of Muslims, they'll be dealt with, won't they? They will, won't they? And everyone will scream for them to be dealt with. Ditchby Mosque, after the Manchester attack, preachers in there have been called for the murder of non-Muslims time and time again. Not been dealt with. They're protected by police. You have to start addressing, and you have to address these. If you don't address these, you'll leave an open playing field for these sort of attacks and these sort of people. You're going to leave it. You're going to leave and add to the radicalisation. And that's what everyone's job. It shouldn't be shouting down me. Shouldn't be attacking me. I feel I have my finger on the pulse. I feel from talking to people across this country for the last 9 years how desperate some people are feeling, how they feel they're losing their country, they're losing their identity. You have to address that. You have to give them light at the end of the tunnel, so they see an end goal to it. They see a solution to it. Quite frankly, there's no solution. No one sees a solution. None of our politicians, after every single attack, no one addresses the root cause of it. No one talks about the reason for it. Apparently, I'm the cause for this one. How mad's that? Do you know how many people have incited murder against me today? Do you know how many people? None of them be arrested. Hundreds. I showed them. Hundreds. Not just me, my family. Do you know what the police? Have the police contacted me? Have the police contacted me? If I was a Muslim, the police would be around my house now. That's the reality. That's the reality of where we're at in this country. Everyone would be crying out for the people saying the racist, Islamophobic things that they're saying to me about my family, about me being white, about murdering me. Everyone would be crying out for them to be dealt with. The problem is in this country, so long as you leave the general public to view a complete two-tier policing system, you leave them to think there's no hope or solution to this problem. You leave them to think the police are allowing it, because they are allowing it. The security services are allowing this to happen. Whether we lock it or not, letting the ISIS fighters back is allowing it to happen. Allowing these organisations, even National Action, as I said, the Home Secretary done the right move at the time, Theresa May. She's done the right move. She banned these groups before they had a chance to grow. The Islamic groups weren't banned for 20 years. They've had a chance to grow, fester, and spread their cancerous...
Even banning groups like National Action, does that actually have an effect?
Well, it does have, what it is, so when it frustrates me, because when I led the English Defence League, I have people who listen to me and learn from me, yeah? So I always, at every speech, after Lee Rigby's death, my first thing I said is, you don't attack innocent people, you don't attack mosques. There's 600 Muslims in the armed forces who are doing a hell of a lot more in our country than most of us. I address these issues. I used to educate and separate the 16 and 15 and 14 year olds and the kids coming up. That was my duty to do that. My duty to explain to them there's a difference between hating Islam and hating Muslims. It's a strong difference. You can hate an ideology, you can't hate people, yeah? Innocent people. Yeah? So I always felt my place was that. When I left the EDL and then I saw other leaders rise up, I then saw some 16-year-old kids that were in the EDL were 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months later, as I'm watching their progression online, are standing getting Hitler salutes. Because the people they're listening to, they're not saying the things that need to be said. They're not educating the difference on it. In fact, they're inciting the complete opposite. So people have been left susceptible to that. Because whilst no politicians, the reason why people flooded TDL is because there was a vacuum. The reason why people follow me is there's a vacuum. The job that I'm doing and the things I'm saying, the politician is paid to do this. It's their job to do this. Yeah? They have security, I don't. Their job's to do this. Now, when you leave young people to be susceptible to other preachers of hate, which is what they are on the genuine far right, you're going to leave people to be radicalised. And they are being radicalised. And it doesn't help when they keep seeing. It's very easy to radicalise people. It's like the invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan. That may be easy to radicalise Muslims off the back of that. But it's easy to radicalise people when you've got nail bombs blowing up kids and you're all saying there's nothing wrong. You just carry on with life. How many vigils are they planned today? Is there a vigil planned for these victims? Or are they allowed to express their anger?
Well, I think there's a vigil. There will be vigils, no doubt. There will be prayers, etc.
And when they do express their anger, the media will bend over backwards to justify it. Whereas everyone else, on the other hand, is just hooligans and fascists. That's the problem. That the media are part of this problem. You're part of this problem. Sky News, you're part of this problem. You're part, and you played your part in creating this atmosphere in which the country's at, where we're going to go bang into each other. And that isn't. And as I said, we've been screaming out and trying to warn and trying to stop it. And it's all being created. And everyone's played their part, from politicians to media.
How much do you want it to stop?
It has to stop. I've got 3 kids. Do you know when this happens? Do you know people probably want to go try and kill me this week? Probably. I think there's probably rooms of bearded men sitting planning. Yeah? When this happens, who do you think's going to turn on each other? It's going to be the people where I live, not where you live. Yeah? That's the reality.
Well, you don't know where I live.
No, I'm guessing where you live. I'm pretty sure you live in a middle class area, a nice area, where the neighbours aren't going to turn each other. They're going to turn each other in Luton. Yeah? Neighbours are going to turn on each other. When that happens, who's it going to affect? It's going to affect us. That's why we're screaming out about it. That's why we're begging for it. We've been begging for it to be stopped. Begging for this problem to be addressed. Nothing addressed. 10 years later, we're still in the same situation. We're in a worse situation every year. And nothing's sorted.
You say it's a tinderbox this summer.
Yeah.
What can be tangibly done to try and diffuse the hate,
situation,
the anger that is here in the immediate now?
Address the issue. You've got to address the issue. You've got to address where the hate has come from. You've got to address why we're in this situation. You have to address whether people like it or not. People want to hate me. People want to kill me because I speak the truth. I'm just telling the truth about Islam. We have to be honest about Islam. We have to be honest about where we're at. We have to be. And there are good Muslims and great Muslims, and we need them on side. We do. Yeah? But that shouldn't stop us from addressing the issue. Every time there's a terrorist attack, we want to talk about what does Theresa May talk about? The internet. The internet. It took me 10 minutes to find Didsbury Mosque have been promoting hate to kill Jews, kill Christians, kill gays, kill everyone. It took me 10 minutes. What do you mean the internet?
Is it recruiting more younger people and drawing them to more extreme views, the inaction of politicians at the moment?
Of course it is. It's only going to hurt. I don't understand why. Really do not understand how anyone, an idiot, can know this is going to happen. An idiot could know this was going to happen eventually. And the problem and the worrying factor is, once it happens once, I think we're now hitting a sectarian style conflict, where I don't think it's going to go away. Well, actually, I know it's not going to go away. And then it's like, and whose fault is this? Whose fault is it? It's our politicians. It's all of our leaders who have allowed this, facilitated it, lied about it. They're lying to us about the situation this country's in. They're lying to us about the threat we face. They're putting these people in amongst our communities, and people are scared. You know, I saw some Muslim this morning saying he's scared. They're scared going Muslim. We're scared. Why do you think we're doing this? We've got kids. We're scared. We're scared for the future of our kids. So you install that fear into people and show them no hope. You're going to create a big problem for this country. It's not going to go.
Just final thought on the EDL, the way that it's gone in its different directions.
The EDL is pretty much non-existent. Yeah? You then have a couple of these splinter organisations who are genuine fascists, who are Nazi-like, they're still dangerous. They're still going to be dangerous, aren't they?
How closely do you believe the police monitor them? Or are they a low priority?
No, I wouldn't say they are a low priority, because the prevent and not everything. They try to find people on the other side to justify the money they're spending on what they're doing. But there is a hell of a lot more that they could be doing, and they should be doing. And a lot of it, the problem is still the far right. If you've got Nazis and racism, and that's getting involved in the youth, that's just education. You can educate that out, people. The concerns that the youth are now having with Islam, you can't educate that out because they're right. The problems we're going to face, and the extremism, the violence, the hatred, you can't educate out of them because they're correct, so you need to address it. You can't keep on just, well, it's alright, everything's going to be alright, crack on to work as normal. As Sadiq Khan said, that this was part and parcel of living in a big city, is it? Is it? That's what he said to us. That's what he said to everyone else. Is it right that Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of London, yesterday allowed terrorist march through the capital city? No, it's not. Is it right? Are any of these things right? Are any of the people Sadiq Khan shares a platform with, are they right? No, they're not. They're not right. And anyone can see it. And until they start addressing that, they will create the environment that allows this.
Do you feel any regret the way in which the EDL has splintered into those different factions that are effectively nobody holds them together or
Do I
controls?
feel any regret? No, look, you've seen since what I feel regret with the English Defence League. I feel regret with the way I left the English Defence League. I feel regret in the way the English Defence League were treated. I feel regret in the way that genuine people classed as far right. What you then did is you made it acceptable to be in the far right. The media have done it. Everyone's done it. If you're being called far right for saying that terrorism is bad, if you're being called far right for that, then what is the difference in being called far right and walking along the group of the far right group? You open them to the groups. And you've took the meaning of being called a racist and far right away, that people don't care anymore. And I think the simple solution to this is start addressing people's fears. And that's, again, in no way giving justification. What's happened should never have happened, but people must have seen it. They must have seen this. I don't understand how they have. I don't understand how they have them.
Okay, we'll leave it there, Tom. So, thank you very much.
No problem.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm alright. See how you ready?
I'll just get a couple of shots of you just chatting away.
Yeah.
30 seconds.
So you're off to Sunderland Sunday. What's the case in Sunderland?
I've got three different cities to go to up north to just about issues that I've ongoing stuff. Yeah. I've just got ongoing stuff.
And how do you describe your relationship with the EDL now? Kind of.
I don't have a relationship with the EDL.
There's no kind of.
No, but the EDL still are not one of these splinter organisations.
No,
they're still trying to go down the right path. They're still just being labelled. So some of these genuine groups, like North West Infidels, I've said from day one, scumbags, absolute scumbags. Yeah.
Any of these? They mentioned all Liverpool.
They're like Northwest. I don't know. They're all from around there. These groups are like. Then they have the little union marches. Genuine Sikh Highland Muppets. Absolute Muppets, yeah? Never had a good relationship with them. They hate me. They despise me. But you need to...
And that National Action don't have a geographic kind of base.
They're just loads of little posh kids running around being pricks.
And they don't come out of one or two universities. It's a mix of different universities that they've come
There's
out
been
of.
big exposés on them, innit? Just read it up.
Yeah.
Read it up. But as I said, you leave. I think that it's so wrong that people are allowed to, unless you have a healthy centre for people to join and listen and talk about these issues, you leave it open for them to listen to these groups.
Yeah.
And that's not. And so you need to, politicians, you need to address it.
Yeah.
You need to create a space where people can feel free. Like no one's free. No one feels free to talk. Do you know where I'm going now?
Right.
I'm going to meet a school teacher who's been suspended from work. Suspended from work because she attended a demonstration against terrorism.
Which one was that?
That's where we're at.
Which demo was it?
UK against hate.
UK against hate.
You didn't frankly have the balls to put country before party.